definitely misinterpreted. All right.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna get started tonight in our workshop. The first thing off tonight is gonna be the presentation from the Lakers Alliance. Jessica's here to start explaining some of the stuff. So she's gonna be talking for a few minutes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Jessica Lansdale. I am the president of the Lakes Communities Alliance of Rock Hill, and we're a citizens advocacy group. We formed a few years ago to keep track of the development pressures that are in our area, especially around the Delaware and Hudson Canal Reservoir lakes, which are Wannock Sink, Wolf, Yankee Lake, Lake Louise Marie, Maston, and some other smaller bodies. We realized as we were working on pressuring developers not to put their distribution centers in our backyard that we needed to make everyone realize how special this area is. And one way to do this is to create something called a critical environmental area. And now a critical environmental area sounds a little scary to some people, but it's really not. It doesn't change zoning. It's not a law, and it definitely does not affect personal property, private property, your average landowner. The only thing it really does is it encourages additional consideration during local government review of environmental impacts that are associated with large development proposals. So in other words, if a distribution center wants to develop something here, or a very, very large housing development wants to put something here, or anything, there's very specific quantities and acreage, they have to be reviewed under SEQR, the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And if it's a CEA, critical environmental area, that they want to do this in, there's a box that they have to check on the form, CEA. And what that does is that gives the planning board and the town board a little extra leverage to say, hey, it's a flag. Hey, you're putting something in a sensitive area. We expect you to do thorough environmental studies. We expect you to not push the boundaries on the zoning that we have so carefully set up here. In an effort to see, first of all, if our area was a CEA, we hired Hudsonia, a group, to do a biodiversity study of the area. And I have a 26-page report from them. And we also hired Ted Fink from Green Plan to help us with what they call the justification language. It's the language that the township sends to the DEC to register the CEA. So in other words, the CEA has to be under the township. It's home rule. So our CEA here would be under Mamakating, and the CEA in town of Thompson would be a separate one, but they'd be obviously the same thing, a large protected area. And then it just goes to the DEC, and the DEC holds it. They don't monitor it. They don't regulate it. I have a couple asks. I'm not going to give my presentation. I have a half-hour presentation PowerPoint that's really interesting. But part of the CEA process is to have a public meeting just for the CEA, to invite the public to come and learn about it and comment. So I'm here to submit my documents, this letter to all of you, the justification language itself that would go to the DEC, the Hudsonia report, and give you time to look at that. And then perhaps we could set up a meeting. My other ask is that I get some help if you do decide to go this route, I get some help defining the boundaries of the CEA. I gave Michael a map here, but I mean, we can go as wide as the entire township. We certainly won't do that. What we're really concerned in is the watershed area between the Delaware and Hudson Lakes, Canal Reservoir Lakes, and the Boschkill on this side. So So does that mean that the boundaries go all the way to the Boschik Hill? That's just, so I need some help there. Let me just read a little bit of this letter to you guys, and women. The Delaware Hudson Canal Reservoir Lakes area is situated between the Boschik Hill wetland system, the Shawangunk Ridge Forest, I always pronounce that wrong, Rusagap State Forest to the east, and the Neversink River to the west. The area is rich with lakes, wetlands, and streams. All water sources flow to the Boschik Hill or to the Neversink River. The area has intact, healthy forests and lakes. It serves as a crucial wildlife corridor connecting the Boschik Hill to the Shawangunk and the Rosagap and the Neversink. Home it's home to unique biodiverse ecosystem and an especially thriving residential communities. So large development proposals within this area should be approached with caution, as they could adversely affect both the natural environment and the communities that relish it. I should note that there are 3 children's sleepaway camps near this area, or in this area, and there's an abundance of year-round seasonal and weekend homes. In fact, Maston Lake has a registered historic district of late Victorian homes. They're just part of the rich legacy of the community here. We are undergoing, as you know, rapid development, aggressive development, and it's just, we feel it's imperative that we take steps to protect this significant natural area. When we did research for the justification document, something very interesting came up from the New York State's Open Space Conservation Plan that I will also read to you. It's specific about this area. In the Open Space Conservation Plan 2008, it says, significant development pressure threatens water quality, vital habitat, and scenic viewshed of the 3,000-acre Boschik Hill wetland area. The area is home to over 200 species of birds, 30 varieties of fish, 40 types of butterflies, as well as scores of plants, reptiles, amphibians, mammals, and insects. Federally protected species call this area home, as do other endangered and threatened species and species of special concern. The surrounding valley, largely unprotected, is called the Gateway to the Catskills and contains some of the largest intact and globally important forest blocks with some of the highest incidences of amphibian diversity in the state. Those lands that make up the viewsheds directly north of Route 209 and west of Route 17 that extend directly west of the Boschik Hill and north of Route 209, i.e. the Lakes Area CEA, should be protected as those properties within the Pine Kill Creek corridor for habitat protection and flood prevention. So, in my letter, I got endorsements of a number of groups. The Boschik Hill Area Association has endorsed this, Catskill Mountain Keeper, D&H Canal Historical Society, Catskill Center for Conservation and Development, Hudson River Keeper, Terry Blosser Bernardo has endorsed it, so has Nicholas Salamone. The Orange County Land Trust, the Yankee Lake Preservation Association, Lake Louise Marie Country Club, Orange Environment Incorporated, and a couple other smaller organizations. Not all the lakes formally endorsed this, simply because a lot of the lakes have a policy not to publicly endorse, the boards don't publicly endorse things. They all were very helpful with our biodiversity studies. So again, a couple asks. One is that you read these documents, and I can send you a link to them as well. And I will send you a link to the PowerPoint presentation, which is really interesting. And then to schedule to look at the borders, and if someone is a planner, it'd be helpful to have some help just finessing those borders a little bit, and then setting up a public meeting. The next step after that would be to go to Sullivan the Sullivan County Planning Division. And I think there is a secret review for this in there. And then basically this is the document that gets handed to the DEC. And it becomes a CEA. And you can look up CEAs on the DEC website and you'll see where they are across the state. One just was designated in Bethel. It's interesting that we were both doing the same thing at the same time. Do I have any, that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to show. There's a little map going around.
Okay.
Any questions?
Not so much a question as I know, we had spoken previously.
Yes.
And one of the things that I found so fascinating was the importance of getting everybody together to do this, because you had described how important it is to have contiguous properties for the movement of a lot of these animals and
Right.
the plants, that they need to have that
Right.
connection, that highway of woods, that they're able to go from
Right.
one place to another.
That is.
So that we're not looking at isolated areas to say we're going to have our own little protected area here, but it really needs to encompass so much of what we have up here, all the lakes.
Yeah, so what Peter is talking about is having continuous forests that will allow large animals to move. They need large area in order to breed and thrive. So New York State has designated both the high priority forests, which are the best forests in the state, which without surprise are the Adirondack Park and the Catskill Park and other intact state parks, as well as the forests that are right below Wolf Lake, are high priority forests. And then they would call connector forests, and these are on the map, they're light green instead of dark green, and they connect for all these large parcels together. And there's a big swath that connects from the Adirondack all the way down to the Mongaup. And it's almost like a mouse if you look at the map, a mouse took a little chew out of the green for where exactly where the lakes area is. And there's really no reason why it shouldn't be part of that high priority or connector forest, because it is all intact forest in there. It just hasn't been designated. And from the biodiversity reports, we know that since we're between these two incredible areas, the Neversink River and the Bashakil, and these lakes are on the top of a plateau, and the water flows down to either of them. It's very, very unique in a biodiversity sense, and especially the bald eagles, which I believe they began breeding in the Mongaup to bring them back, and now they just love to fly. They love high ridges, so they fly up onto the plateau where the lakes are. They love to feed in our lakes. They like to coast the air of the ridge and feed in the Bashakil. So it's a thriving birds of prey area here, and there's a lot of pressure here if we're going to start demolishing forests and widening highways and increasing truck traffic on these animals. I also have videos online of the amphibian migration at Wolf Lake. That happens every spring on Canal Road. They just hop across the road. They're all over the place. Amphibians are threatened. Just the drop in amphibians is dramatic in the past 20 years. So the areas where they thrive, we really want to protect them. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay. So we'll set something up with you.
Okay.
And the pamphlets that you got tonight, I'll make sure all the councilmen get it. And then we'll set another date up to where the public will know. And we'll just do a whole public forum for the Lakers Alliance. I do have one question because we were getting phone calls and I asked you outside. Just to reassure everybody, because we got tons of phone calls today about it. They're not trying to take away motorboats on lakes.
No.
So the building department got a call or two, and so did the supervisor's office. So this has more to do with zoning than boats on a lake, or everybody has their own rules on their own lake.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and this has got nothing to do with you know, the DEC coming in and like checking to see if you have an endangered bat on your property. None of that is going to happen because this is a CEA. Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about that. Actually, so to become a CEA, you need to meet the one of 4 points, and one of the 4 points is importance to the community. And you know, I'm a city dweller, New York City dweller. I'm an architect. I work for DASNY, Dormitory Authority of the State of New York. My father was an environmental planner. He actually was the head of the Adirondack Park Agency when I was a teenager. So we lived in the Adirondacks, and I loved Wolf Lake when I moved up here. I loved it up here. It felt like the Adirondacks. Where was I going with this? Somewhere. So the communities here are so special. The ones around, especially the ones that I know that are around the lakes, because I don't know if anyone saw that article in the New York Times about the epidemic of loneliness and how communities, we don't really have communities anymore. We don't have parades. We don't have, we don't have a million clubs that people go to. Everyone orders takeout and stays home alone. And so at the turn of the 20th century, what used to be big group community things, church for one thing, or, the Lions Club, has gone away, but there's still these intact communities here around these lakes that are all connected to each other. And they have, we're all have events and everybody shares in the community experience. And it's very unique. And I would hate to have anything jeopardize that. It's just so special. And and I would hate to have it just be a remnant of the Catskill legacy that then, just.
But we still
Goes away.
got the Lions Club here. So.
You still got the Lions Club. All right. And the Elks Club?
No, well, that's in Walk Hill. But,
Okay. All right.
okay.
There you go. I'll leave these.
I guess we have this. This is really just her presentation quick. So,
I have a PowerPoint that's very.
all right.
Very visual.
I have some questions. This was just going to be a presentation. Go ahead, sir. Guys, come to the mic because there's people online and can't hear you.
Cindish. I'm the owner of Camp Lakota on Master Lake. There are a couple of facts that don't sit well. We're talking about a contiguous.
You got to talk into the mic more. They
We're
can't hear you.
talking about a contiguous animal movement. How do we factor in Route 17, which divides 2 of the lakes from the other 3?
But
So-
I know where you're going with this, and this is something that when she does her forum, it's going to be the place to ask all this, because I'm sure she doesn't have all the info for you that you need.
Okay, all I'm saying is that I am not so sure that this community needs another layer of oversight. Unless you feel we are incompetent to judge what is best for our community, that's something else. But my experience over the past 40 some odd years, and we haven't agreed on everything, I understand that, but we work together to make sure that this community stays intact. And I'm not so sure how I don't agree that the Avon Center should have been built. That's neither here nor there. But how that affects our local community, our gatherings, our interactions with our neighbors is beyond me. Okay. I can understand if there is an environmental impact, and that's where we have our local boards, the DEC, the state regulations. If they're not enough, I'm not so sure what another layer of oversight is going to do for us.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to add, Mike, our history goes back a lot further than what you have indicated. We go back to the Minnesink and Hardenberg patents, which is 1703 and 1704. Okay, and also the fact that right now there is a movement going for the 250 for the American Revolution. A lot of our Revolutionary War soldiers, because we were a precinct at that point, are buried here in Mamakating. I am right now finding them, documenting them, and giving it to John Conwell, because we are starting the celebration on April the 17th or the 27th, I'm sorry, here with the settlement at Cushitunk Sure, sure.
Okay.
So therefore, our history goes back a lot further. We have a lot more at stake to make it a historical community.
Okay. Thank you, Fernanda. So thanks, Jessica, for your presentation, and we'll set something up to where more of the public can come out, voice their opinion. Okay, Mary Allison. It's really, we're getting off course here. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you. No, you can come now because this wasn't supposed to be a question and answer. She's just asking for a presentation.
You're talking about the incredible diversity of bird life at the Bashik. I think, I don't know if you still need support from other organizations, but look at the Sullivan County Audubon Society, Orange County Audubon, and then there's another one in Orange County, Edgar Mearns Birding Club. Those would be powerful support for you.
Thank you, Mary Allison. Okay, we're gonna move on with our workshop. Thanks, Jessica. And like I said, we'll get in touch and set something up with you. To move on with our budget, our workshop. So the budget modifications, everybody get a chance to look at them?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
All right, anybody have any questions? Thanks for coming, guys. Next is the pool sand filters thing that we have at the end. Sir, just be advised too, we're gonna post everything online, so we'll have more information online if you want some, okay? Okay. 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 Thank you. All right, go back. The pool sand filters. I sent everybody a thing last week. One bid only had 3 and the other one had 4, and we caught it, and we went back to the one that only had 3. We just got it late on Friday. So my recommendation is let's table this until the 4th. I didn't really get a chance to go over everything today. And I don't know if everybody saw on the board the new bids and stuff like that. So I want to table it to make sure everybody's on the same page. So if everybody's okay with that, when we get down to the resolutions, we'll just table it until the 4th. Next is the part-time dog control officer. Vicky had a person that was willing to come on and help her with a part-time dog control officer. Her name is, where'd it go? Jessica Gibbons. So all the board got to see her resume. We actually hired her last week with the board's approval of everybody. So today we're just ratifying it to, get back into helping Vicky out with all the dog control problems that we're running into. So she has a little bit of time to take when she's out and about, and have some help. So next is a street light purchase. So this is something that we did over a year ago. We've been waiting actually on O&R to get us a price on buying back the street lights from O&R. Realtree Energy is the company that we're going to go with to, after we purchase this, to go back and now these street lights will be ours. They'll save us a lot of money in the long run. It's a 4-year buy, we'll make money after 4 years after we buy these back. So Ben went over the agreement and he actually sent everybody, hopefully the board gets a chance to look at it. And, if you want a little bit more time on doing this, that's fine, but it's kind of straightforward and Ben's actually looking out for the best of the town and, O&R's, we'll send this to O&R and see what their response back is. So, so anybody have any questions on that? No?
That 338,000, that was just a typo.
Yes. So it's 113,855, but that's really not the right number anyway. It should be 91. Did you see that, Ben?
Total 91 on our chart. I think there's going to be even less than 91. when we
Yeah,
take out-
because,
Take out the.
right, right. So this is to get the process going. So Ben work this whole letter up and we'll be sending this to ONR with the board's approval. Next is the purchase of two pickup trucks for the highway department. Tommy would like to replace the two Foreman trucks. They're both smaller trucks. He would like to get them the bigger 2,500 or F-250s. I think they're 2,500 Rams. So then the Foremans can have fuel tanks for the equipment in their truck also. Right now they can't because it's not heavy enough, the truck. So he'd like to purchase two new ones and then have that ready to go for the spring, but it has to go for a permissive referendum. So tonight we'll go ahead, Tyler.
Point about the purchase of the pickup trucks on the agenda. These trucks are to replace the two Foreman's vehicles. The current ones are not in bad condition, but are not adequate for the needs of the department. The foreman in the past had trucks that had plows, which the new ones will have. This allows them to help during storms. Additionally, both trucks would have fuel tanks for the machinery. Presently, only one has a fuel tank, so the truck has to visit all the job sites. And it's only a 1500 series, so putting all the fuel in the back of the tank says makes it squat.
Yeah.
So just heavy for the truck. These two vehicles are on my list of replacement for this year, as well as one large truck. That truck international is on order.
Okay, thank you. So after the permissive referendum, we'll, as long as the board's okay with purchasing them, we'll move forward. If anybody has any questions, Tommy said you can call him anytime about them.
The one we're going to sell, we're gonna
I think he's gonna keep one and auction off the other one. So, anybody have questions about that? No? All right, next is the dog control kennels, the architect and engineer. So Tyler's been working on these dog control. It's not technically a kennel. It's really just a holding place for these dogs instead of taking them to Walden or Port Jervis or Middletown. That costs us, a lot of money. If one of the dogs got a tag and the person can't get to it right away, and Vicky takes them, she can store them here until the person comes and picks them up and, return them. We're not here to be a hotel for people that go away, and then want to store their dogs. That's not what these are for. That's a real kennel. This is just a storage spot for us. A lot of towns have them. I know Tyler's got a little bit more information for you about them. So if you want, Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to continue off what you said, Mike, it's definitely not a kennel in any way, shape, or form. It's literally dog cages for our dog control officer to put dogs in cages. It's to keep them indoors. We're supposed to keep them, don't quote me on the numbers, it's 3 to 7 days, I think it is, until you're legally allowed to put them up for adoption. So instead of paying Port Jervis or Deer Park or whoever we go to now, Walden, we'll just be keeping them here. And then if someone comes to get them, we can get our fees for it. If no one comes to get them at that point, they'll go to a pound who's more willing to take them at this point because they can just adopt them out. So I did get some pricing from John Fuller to do both the engineering and the architecture. And then I spoke with Larry Paggi, who's our current engineer, and then Jackie Horton, who does architecture and a local architect. Jackie sent me a text. She didn't get me something like a paper writing, but she said it would be $4,000 for the architecture. Larry Padgett came back and said, it basically looks like he's giving us an hourly rate, but he said we anticipate our fee of engineering services not to exceed 7,500. So even if we spent 7,500, and I think it's, he has some things in here. I do think it might go down just a little bit, just looking at the things, I can go over some things with them, about how we're the water supply and stuff like that. But even if we spent the 7,500, we're still only looking at 11,500 compared with John Fuller's price for both of them, which was $20,000. So my recommendation would obviously go that route, let Jackie Horton, who we used before for the pole barns in the back. And then let Larry Padgett's office do our septic design that we need for this small system. I didn't see in the email, so I didn't forward the email, I just forwarded the attachment. Right now, they're looking to do a small septic tank with 4 lines, 4 50-foot lines. I told them that we assumed because most of it's there's, cobble and sand and good perk. We're going based on that assumption. We obviously still have to do actual tests, people tests, perk tests, stuff like that. And then from there, if we approve Jackie Horton, we'll sit down and start designing the building. Just to give you guys kind of an idea, 5 kennels. 4 of them are just going to be a normal one, or normal. The 5th one is called like an isolation kennel. Sick dog, pregnant dog, something like that. They can go into that one. Gonna do. I'm looking to do like a hunch slab type building, cheapest route. Block walls halfway up, and then just a metal building with trusses, outdoor kennels, indoor kennels, chain link to separate the rest of the way. Pretty basic for a dog kennel.
Well, thanks for your research. It sounds a good step forward. And it sounds like something we need. I wouldn't say need, but it will make the government work more efficiently, and we're not beholden to other municipalities for their rates. And so I just want to say thank you.
Of course, one thing that I did forget to mention, and I just thought of it today actually, is the dog truck now, just to think of expenses, and obviously it's not going to cost the same as the building, but right now we have a vehicle with that big body on the back, and I don't know what the exact cost of the rig, but I know it's pretty expensive. You have to keep air conditioning and all that on a truck. So now when we go to replace that truck, which the way things are, I'm sure it's going to be soon. You're just going to buy a regular pickup now instead of this big crazy body that probably costs $80,000.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe we can walk through the world.
Yeah. I think anybody spending time on social media sees the need for it. I think I spend half my time looking at people's lost dogs, and a shout out to state police. I saw there was a really nice post the other day that a dog got loose right out in front of the barracks, and one of the troopers ran out and grabbed him, brought him in, and I guess helped locate the owner. So something like that, when you have a dog and we need a place to store it, we don't have to run to the pound. We'll be able to lock them in our own kennel. But, good job there. Thank you.
Yeah. And just some of the, to give the public a little heads up on some of this stuff. Just one kennel or one person that we use, Port Jervis, their bill for October, November, and December was almost $1,000. It was $885. So, and that's just one. And most of our dogs end up going to Walden anyway, so their bill is probably a little bit more. We just started with Middletown. We really haven't done anything with Middletown yet, but the cost of all this is a little costly to the town also. And even though this is going to cost us money at the beginning, I think in the long run it will help us. And Vicky will maintain it as dog control officer. She will be the person to run that, and a lot of the specs that come with this is state ran, so we have to go by what the state tells us we have to do anyway. So Tyler's been working pretty hard on this, and hopefully we can get this thing started and built by hopefully the end of the year. So, and it is going on our property. It will be here in the back towards the highway department. So then this way we can keep an eye on it. We have cameras back there, so nobody's just rushing in there and taking their dog without anybody seeing them, so. And they have to go past the police barracks, so hopefully that'll stop them too. So, any more questions about that, guys? No? Okay. All right, we're gonna start the business meeting. Pledge of allegiance. All right. Even though we had a few people talk about the work session already, but we're gonna do public comment, 3 minutes each, 30-minute max, anything that was on the workshop. Go ahead, Kathy.
Kathy Dawkins, Yankee Lake. I would just like to, I know that we're going to have another meeting, but I would like to express my support for the work of the Community Lake Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else? No? Brittany, you have anybody online?
I do.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, my name is Mark Schulman. I've lived in Maston Lake since 1954. I'm an attorney. Maston Lake, which you may not understand, is the first and oldest subdivision in Sullivan County. It was subdivided in 1893. Because it was sold as hunting cabins on little lots, this land can never be developed for any purpose whatsoever. Everyone around Maston Lake who owns a piece of property has rights into the common land through this subdivision, and it can never be developed. When Simon Gelb decided he wanted to come here and take over our land, he found out very quickly that he couldn't do that because he would have to buy us all out, which even he couldn't afford. I don't think we need any more restrictions or laws. And the one thing that bothers me about this presentation is that if you look at the presentation, it doesn't say anything about any research they did about Maston Lake. They don't know anything about the lake. Between Dr. Mindish and I, we own 100% of the lake. Nothing is ever going to happen here, and we don't need another organization or more laws to control our own property. We'll be happy to do it by ourselves, and I thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Hold on. I'm on Brittany first. Brittany, do you have any more?
I do not.
Okay. Go ahead, Lori.
I didn't know if this was official workshop business, but last meeting I came up and noticed that Alex Goodman hadn't been up for his 7-year reappointment. So I just want to remind you to do that.
It won't be tonight. It'll be on a February 4th meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, Lori. We noticed it today that we didn't put it on there because I actually talked to Alex.
Okay. Yeah.
He's hooked, so he ain't going nowhere.
It's him getting away.
No. Even though he tried to run from me today, he's good. Okay, next is County Legislator Nick Salamone wants to do his yearly report. No, you got 5 minutes, Nick. Actually, 3. No, right, Karen? No.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Glenn.
I want to commend the Highway Department for the great job they did. I've been out day and night, all around the clock, and they're out there. Okay, I want to talk about a few accomplishments from the county level. On taxes and finance, we adopted a 2025 budget that kept the tax increase under the state cap without cutting services and laying off employees. We avoided shortfalls and long-term borrowing and creating no new debt. We're building We're rebuilding the airport, and people go, well, we don't use it. The state is putting in $18.5 million, and the total cost is $22 million. So we're taking a chance. Hopefully it'll grow. Maybe it won't grow, but we're trying. And Sullivan County remains the best financial shape ever, and it's not ranked pretty high by the New York State Controller's Office. You know, we have a great manager up there. He's just fantastic. On the infrastructure, we began an in-depth existing solid waste and recycling infrastructure with new initiatives. As you know, the garbage waste went up a lot, and we don't know when Seneca Meadows, that's where the garbage goes to, when it's going to close. This has been going on for like 12 years. And every time we turn around, the state changes the rules. It's just a mess, but we're getting to the bottom of it. What I would like to do, if the garbage rates keep going up, we have $2 million aside for affordable housing. I'd like to take that money and try to lower the garbage rates or put it toward the employees' pay raises. Because if we don't keep the middle class here, I can't worry about affordable housing. I feel bad, but I can't worry about it. That's a state issue. 2 bridges, including a dam, were completely replaced, and 4 are under rehabilitation. That cost a buck. We're allocating $21 million for roads and bridge work, again, without borrowing. Okay. One more page. We just purchased 7.7 acres adjacent to the D&H Canal Linear Park Interpretive Center, and we're getting additional half a mile of abandoned O&W Railroad, eliminating road connections and creating more seamless trail connections of the Sullivan O&W Rail Trail. And last but not least, we are allocating $424,000 to 24 nonprofit and community groups for their use. We're coming out with discretionary spending forms. So if you know any nonprofit organization, it will be on the website. They can print it and fill it out. And I hate to say it, I've been fighting for a year and 1 month for Our Lady of Assumption to get their food pantry money. Finally, another month or 2, it'll be okay. It's just the revolving door just takes long. And I want to thank Peter Goodman, his group, because you take the ambulance. Now we have that countywide ambulance service. And from my understanding, I didn't see the figures, we're doing billing and we're getting 1.3 million back already. The project cost 5.4, 5.7 mil for a 2-year program. So, and it saved the life, you know, so that's all I have to say.
Okay. Any of the board have any questions?
No, but on
Thank you.
on behalf of the ambulance corps, I thank the legislature for what they did. Program seems to be working really well. So, thank you.
Thanks, Nick. All right, next, highway superintendent report. Tyler, you got that? Tom wasn't able to make it tonight. He was as a busy weekend this weekend, so. I know, you don't work for the town.
We continue to operate your boat, having the biggest stomachs so far this past season. When not plowing or sanding or attending to the sand pile by hauling the sand and mixing it with salt. And then the last one was talking about the trucks.
Okay. Thanks, Tyler. Next, supervisor's report. Really ain't got too much. You know, it's really cold out, so dress appropriately. You know, trails are still there, so get out on the trails. Just be careful. Yeah, so I really don't have too much tonight. So, yeah, that's it on the supervisor's report. So we'll move on to the next, 2024 abstract number 29 for $55,489.85. Can I get a motion?
Motion to pay abstract number 29.
All right, motion by Peter. Second by Tyler, all in favor? Next is 2025 abstract number 2 for $250,967.42. Motion by Gary. Second by Tyler, all in favor? Aye. Next, the financial reports. Everybody get a chance to look all of them?
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
No? Can I get a motion to accept the financial reports?
Motion to accept the financial report.
Motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Matt, all in favor? Approve the minutes of 1/7/25.
Second.
Motion by Gary, second by Matt, all in favor? All right, off to the resolutions. Approve budget modifications. Motion by Matt, second by Peter, all in favor? B, we're not gonna do tonight. We're gonna hold off to make sure that everything is right with these two bid proposals. So we're gonna move that to February 4th meeting. C is ratified approval of Jessica Gibbons as a part-time dog control officer. Motion by Tyler,
Second.
second by Gary, all in favor? Approve offer letter from Orange and Rockland to purchase streetlights.
Is it on, Ben's review?
Well, no, there was a resolution which states essentially that the approval is subject to further review and approval by the parties of all matters contained in O&R's letter. It listed a number of factors that are still outstanding that both sides need to look into. And also that the resolution is made in reliance on, O&R had made a statement that they need this resolution in order to move forward, getting the information. So that's really the purpose, is to move the process.
Yeah, and that's why Ben worded it the way he did, to make sure that the town is covered. So, no,
Let me ask a very dumb question. So if the number changes in some way, we can change our mind then that they change what we're doing?
Yeah.
Right, so just, I don't foresee this happening, but if they go from 100,000 to 300,000 for some stupid reason, I don't know why. We can say, never mind, no.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and they admit themselves, they still have to do another audit. To
Right.
Get their own.
because some of their numbers already had like lights at R&Rs anyway. So that's right. Right. So that's why Ben wrote this letter based on, conditional, numbers.
Subject to further review and approval by the parties is sufficient. The board's action tonight, and then I have more precise wording that I'll get the Karen to be put in.
So it's a big, yeah.
Sounds like. But if
When you catch 22 situation.
I suppose that we make our conditional approval.
We gotta take
We
that
approve
word
the
conditional
conditional
out.
approval.
Yes. All right. So I got a motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Tyler. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks. This still is going to be a long project because O&R says after this and it goes to the state, he said it could be another 6 to 7 months. So,
Can Mike, and I might be on the spot, and maybe carrying this, but, so the whole grant thing's out the window now, I assume, because wasn't this supposed to be in by like last October? So now we're just doing this for weren't we supposed to get money from a grant for doing this?
no, they looked into a grant for the EV stations. That's what we were going to get a grant for. And we're not doing that anyway. So,
I think my shorter was up here saying that we had a short window. Shut down the
That
October.
was the bell, right, because I remember someone came and gave a presentation that if we got so many points, you would.
oh, that was, yeah,
Get money.
yeah, we're past that.
I don't know, it was $1,000.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, no, that's, yeah, we still could probably get some of that because we still have these points through that system. Because Mary did some stuff that helped us and, the lighting will help us when we get it done, but it's a process. So something that once we get a certain amount of points for that, like you said, then we can apply for this grant because we'd have enough. So hopefully on the back end, we'll get it. So. All right, so we'll move on from that. Next is approved purchase of a 2024 Ram 2500 pickup truck for 61,644 and 25 cents to expand the highway vehicle capital reserve fund, subject to a permissive referendum.
Just a typo, why are they two different typos?
Two trucks.
Two trucks.
No, I know they're trucks, but they're two identical trucks, why are they different prices?
They're not completely identical. I don't know what the difference is, how he got one that's cheaper than the other.
Yeah,
Probably it's only $200, $250.
valve stem cover.
That's a question for Tommy. I don't know why they're actually different. Not off the top of my head. Well, no, we'd be able to purchase one truck. The other truck, we'd have to move from the capital reserve. Oh, it's the plow? Oh, it's the plow difference. Okay. Thanks, Karen. So, yeah, that we'd end up after the permissive referendum, we'd probably have to add money to the vehicle equipment reserve fund. Wow, the new truck just came in the other day. That was 319,000. It came in yesterday or Monday. Yeah. Yeah. From Amthor's, we got it. So that came in. So I wrote that check today. So that dwindled out pretty much. So, all right, back to approving the first one for 61,000 644.25.
Motion.
Motion by Matt. Second by Peter. All in favor? Second, approved purchase of the 2024 Ram 2500 pickup for 61,411.25 to expend from the Highway Vehicle Capital Reserve Fund and a permissive referendum. We would move money over from the general fund into the Vehicle Equipment Reserve Fund. Motion by Gary. Second by Tyler. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, approve Horton Architects to create the bid specs for the dog kennels for the town hall for $4,000.
Motion.
Motion by Matt. Second by Tyler. All in favor?
Aye.
And next, approve the engineer to create plans for the septic system of the dog kennel for the town hall. Motion by Peter. Second by Tyler. All in favor? Did you guys not get the stuff about the pickup truck? No? All right. That was my mistake. I thought everybody had that. So. All right. Next, committee reports. I know Karen, you gave yours to Jim.
For me? I have a committee report. Town clerk report. I didn't get much of a chance to review, so we're not going to get the comparison to the last report. Month of December 2024. 22 handicap parking permits and renewals, 8 marriage licenses, 17 dog licenses and renewals, 7 terrorist certificates for the spay neutering program, 25 notarizations, 35 certified copies for vital records, 1 dog impound fee, 1 junkyard license, renewal, I guess, right? And 2 peddler license. I'm to read the year-end totals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Year-end totals, 2024. This is unverified, but we'll go with it. 382 handicap parking permits and renewals. 58 marriage licenses, 6 one-day marriage efficient license. 387 dog licenses, 126 Terra certificates for the spay and neutering, 320 certified copies for vital records, 104 photocopies for various things, 6 dog impound fees, 5 trailer park fees, 2 junkyard licenses, 4 peddler licenses. Total state, county, and local revenues collected by the town clerk, $30,000, $666.75, almost 31,000, which includes 11,000 plus collected through DEC licensing sales. Respectfully submitted, Karen L. Barclay, Town of Mamakating Clerk.
Thanks, Jim.
Very nice. You're welcome.
Do you have another report?
I don't have any more committees, but I got a couple announcements.
Okay. Go ahead.
State Police, would like me to announce something about your driving skills and exit 114. There's been a couple of more accidents up there. So if you're coming westbound on 17, start moving to the right lane, like halfway up the mountain, please. There's too much chaos when you get to the top of the mountain to get off safely. And they're asking everybody just be cognizant. The exit's there. It's not going anywhere. So be prepared to slow down and exit. And I do appreciate State Police showing interest in being here now at some of these meetings. He's not here for security purposes. He's just here for, he has a lot of interest in the town. And I'd like to announce, you want me to go into the Wardsboro meeting?
Go ahead.
I go to the Wardsboro meetings in the village. I might as well give some highlights. I'll do it quick. Some of the highlights I wrote down are that there's going to be a race for mayor. There's going to be a race between 3 people. The polling place is at the Village Hall, right there on Pennsylvania Avenue. It's on March 18th. March 18th. The date sounds familiar for some reason. Polling date is March 18th. I believe Frank Cisco is running for re-election. And 2 other guys have announced, Paul Champagne and Wood. Dennis Wood. Yeah, Dennis Wood. Dennis Wood, Paul Champagne, Frank Cisco for re-election. Those 3 I know will be coming around looking for signatures, et cetera. They talked about the tipping fee increase, with the garbage pickup, but their budget runs different than the towns. It runs from like May to April or something. So they're going to rebid that tipping or the garbage pickup fees in the future. And the last thing, I brought up a few things, but I asked about the speed sign coming down the mountain into the village. That solar sign tells you're going too fast. It's been not working for a while. I brought it up and I was told that's because it's solar powered. It's not getting enough sun. I don't know if that's true or not. So I'll keep on that. And that's about it.
Help with the sun?
Excuse me?
Help with the sun?
No, I'm not so sure it's the sun. Those things break. I mean, the batteries die in them and stop charging. Could be anything. So I'll keep on top of the mayor with that sign. 'Cause those signs help, I think.
Okay. Anybody else have any committee reports or?
I have a quick announcement.
Go ahead.
My ward meeting for Ward 2, which was originally scheduled for Wednesday, February the 12th, has been bumped a week to February 19th. And I've already asked Karen and Brittany to update the website for that.
Okay. Anything else? Good. Anybody else? Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I have to get 2 more things for it. So, oh, that's a question for Ben. So the state trooper barracks, they're looking for new locks, but it's $2,700. Now, do we have to get more prices or could we do an add-on to the construction of?
No, I think that's separate.
The locks would be separate?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd have to get.
It's obviously not like there's giving you dining door, this sort of thing. Well, it's only for the 2 new doors that are in the addition, is just changing out the lock. That makes sense. So they want punch code locks instead. So the punch code lock costs
Okay, so the
27.
question is whether that's like just a change order, you mean?
Yes, that's the question. Is it a change order?
It is. That is. Anything I said prior to that, I'm modifying.
Okay. All right, so I actually was on,
Very small percentage of the total cost. That's usually a change.
yeah. Ed, Ed, did you want to change all the locks though in the whole place? Okay. 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 All right, so that can be a change.
Yes.
So do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, you should. Yep.
All right, I don't have, the specific number was 27,
That, yeah.
it was like $2,700. You know, so if the board wants me to send that out tomorrow and maybe we can get it approved by email, I'll let everybody see the quote. And then we'll approve it by email, and because I don't know the exact number. I know it's 27 something.
Ratified it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Board good with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. No
Almost
problem.
done.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Verdana.
Okay, I thought I'd just give you a little report on what I've been doing. I'm very involved in the 250 for the American Revolution for the town of Mamacating. Kind of puts us on top of everything, okay? Because even Orange County Genealogical Society is now asking me to join in on their committees. So we're being recognized because of what I have done in finding our Revolutionary War soldiers and accompanying their grave sites along with their pension applications. Okay, so now John Conway wants my work. He's setting off, like I said before, the beginning of the 250 will start with the Cushy Talk, okay? $75 a ticket. They're going to have a dinner, the whole works. I would like to be there, if possible. And then it will follow up, as I have told him, we are getting the marker for the patriotic burials, which that's what he wants. Give me a list of how many Revolutionary War soldiers and their pension applications so that I can give them out. I have this. He wants it. I will provide it to him.
Charge
This
them
is-
$75.
Yeah, I'll try,
No,
okay?
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
So that's been my main efforts as of lately. I am also trying to reconstruct the old village of Rome through deeds, what buildings were standing at the time before the D&H Canal even came into. Okay, there was a village there and quite a few buildings, some still standing and some aren't. So that's another project that I've full into. Lots to do, little time, but my setback has left me in the house and doing this. So thank you.
Thank you, Verdana. Any other committees or announcements we have? No. All right, he's got an announcement.
Well, my position is public safety up at the county. I keep an eye on new laws coming down with the V&T, criminal procedure law, penal law. A lot of people don't realize if you have a disabled vehicle, you have to move over. Not only emergency vehicles, any vehicle. And I think a lot of people don't realize it. So just want you to know.
Part of the move over law.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Okay, moving on. Public comment, 3 minutes each individual for any new business. If anybody has anything new? No? Quiet? Okay. Brittany, you have anybody online?
I do not.
Okay. Before we move forward, Verdana asked the board about paying for her that dinner. Is everybody in favor of taking care of her? Yep. 2 tickets for Verdana. That's fine. I just need the board's approval before we do it. So can I get a motion?
Make a motion to, pay for Verdana's dinner.
Second.
Two tickets.
Two
right?
tickets.
Two tickets.
Her and whoever she brings.
Yeah. Well, her company bill, her driver. Okay. All right. So $150 for Verdana to go to a Astorian dinner. Okay. Thank you, Verdana. All right. With all that, we have no executive session. So can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion by Tyler, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. We'll see you on February 4th.